How's it going, everybody? I was 1 minute late. At least 1 minute late. Apologies. Um, how's everyone doing today? I see some people hanging out in chat already. We've got Panga, Sangoanda, Tips and Ships, Skya, Mr. Walrus. Nice to see you all. I see some nice membership badges in chat. I see some nice emotes. Panga grabbing cash. Looking for a lick. Appreciate you, chat BN. I've got a few things to show. I got a new consignment of a pretty niche, interesting card. One card consignment that came in for buy it now. If anyone is interested in looking at my consignment terms, sending any cards in, check out the link below. Yeah. Brad G, who's this guy? Walrus, who's this guy? Beard Trim. I did, what night was it? Monday night? I did a 2. So if anyone has clippers and cuts their own hair like I do, it's a 2. It's a 1/4 inch all around. I did mustache, beard, hair, just all a 1/4 inch all around. Nice, simple. The wife gets anything that I miss. Sometimes she misses stuff too. But it's how I do the hairstyling. But yeah, I've got short beard unsub. I was actually contemplating, once I had it down this low, I'm like, man, that's actually too low. It looks kind of weird. It almost looks like, it feels like patchy now. I feel naked almost. I contemplated taking it all the way off. Then I probably would have gotten a bunch of unsubs. But yeah, just I did have a Kickstarter send me some cards that they wanted me to show off. I'll show those off later in the stream. Not any kind of investing advice, not any kind of I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of it. Not any kind of a not any kind of a recommendation or advice, but I'll just show off the cards that were sent to me, and then you can do your own due diligence and see if you would like to support the Kickstarter or not. I was not paid in any way, but anything like that. And then I have a consignment that's being sent to auction. Pretty timely, because I think it's today or tomorrow the Mario movie comes out. So I've got some pretty niche Mario cards that I've had for buy it now consignment for quite a while. Hopefully the hype of the new movie coming out, people will be hitting eBay searching for graded Mario cards. But now Mason has the best beard on YouTube. The beard, it's growing as we speak. I mean, don't be sad. Don't be sad that it's hasn't even left us. Don't be sad that it's rewound time a little bit, because it can be back at any time. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, let me see. Let me keep up with chat. Hopefully this makes my shift go quicker. I hope it makes my shift go quicker too. I've got an hour and a half left. Hopefully this makes it fly. It usually does. I work at a pawn shop, so it's either no customers or a bunch of people trying to sell things. How's it going, Cheeks Galore? How's it going, Turbo? Just hanging out today. Chat BN's loving the fresh new trim, and some people seem quite upset and sad. So we got mixed results on the trim. What percentage of people that go to Collecticon actually pay taxes for vending? I have no idea. I don't really care. I know what I do, and I'm comfortable with what I do. So yeah, all you can really do is your own thing. What others are doing, I think people worry. This is kind of a general life thing. People worry way too much about what others are doing. Obviously, if people are infringing on your rights, if people are causing harm or whatever to other individuals' rights, that is something that's wrong. But what other people do, yeah, people just get so wrapped up in it when it doesn't affect them whatsoever, and they can't control it. So I made that video. What was that video called? I forget what the video was called, but something about worry about something that checks 2 boxes. The 2 boxes that need to be checked are, does it affect you? 1. 2, can you control it? You can argue that it would affect you because your competitors might get a leg up, by evading taxes, but you can't control it. So yeah, not to be worried about, in my opinion. Ray, um, thanks for all your help on shipping in the last live, guys. I sold most of my inventory. I really appreciate it. Good to hear of the good sales over there, iFOMO. Section 70 to 71 reported as required by law. Super bullish. Watching while mowing my front yard. It's not yet mowing season here, but it is getting close, I think. I'm looking at all my spring projects I have, and the list is ever growing. Putting in a new walkway, putting in a nice mulch bed around the swing set. I might have to work on some drainage, do some drainage stuff. A lot of water in the springtime coming through the property, across the property, that just makes things a mess. Dan, my grandma used to say, "You nerds will never be happy." Was she talking about the unhappiness of SV pull rates being better? Thanks for taking this long time lurkers question. As always, I say that I put up a lot of meme questions on the screen, because even a meme question, there's a way that you can attack it. There's a way that you can answer it. And just talking generally about the pull rates, I think there's a lot going on, a lot of conversation going on, a lot of market moves going on with respect to the pull rates. And I've had some people ask me privately, had some people post about it in different Discords. What effect will the pull rates have on the era in total? Will the pull rates carry through the entire era? Sword and Shield seem to be the era of 1 in 1,000, 1 in 2,000 alt arts and such, and it seems like Scarlet Violet is 1 in a few hundred. 5, 6, if not 8 times easier pull rates on some of these individual cards. You can see TCG Player prices absolutely tanking. I'm still waiting for Old Skool Pokemon's video about the exorbitant prices that he was able to sell all his singles for on opening weekend, as a good business person should. But yeah, it seems the market really underappreciated how easy a lot of the pull rates were. What that does to singles is easier. The card's easier to pull, the single price go down. It's harder to theorize what that might do to the sealed product. Will people open more because it feels more achievable to complete the whole set themselves? Or will people open less because the singles are so cheap that they'll decide to just purchase them themselves? I know me as an individual, me as a collector, my first thing getting back into the hobby, I was big on having to open every card myself, not every, but as many as possible. So you might have some amount of people opening more product because, like, hey, it's been so long since I was able to open an entire set myself. I couldn't open all of Evolving Skies myself because I couldn't buy $3,000, $5,000, $10 packs. But now that it's a brand new set, the packs are cheaper right out of the gate. And you might be able to complete a set, open in a few hundred packs, 300 to 500, 600 packs maybe. Will more people be opening them? I have no idea. It's hard to say, but overall, I think the prices of the sealed are doing pretty well out of the gate. Let me pull up TCG Player. I forget what it's going for exactly. But after I finish this question, I'll cover my first consignment that I want to highlight because it is a pretty unique card. A niche error variant of one of the most liquid cards in the hobby, and it's very low pop, very newly recognized by PSA. But I definitely want to highlight that. But yeah, right now $120 market price for Scarlet Violet booster box on eBay. I think you have some lower than you have on TCG Player. Let me see what P Football Pete is doing for us on eBay. Looks like 120. Is this? Yeah, it is P Football Pete, rate number 1. 122.88 with 2,900 sold out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. So to me, that's fairly healthy. It's healthy for consumers in that it's not some exorbitant price. It's not Battle Styles being 150, 160 a box out of the gate. For those who don't remember, I sold my allocation of Battle Styles by the case for $900 a case. So Battle Styles was crazy out of the gate. We're not in like that much hype, FOMO, insane prices out of the gate. We're in a healthy place between MSRP and between wholesale cost, where people can sell for a reasonable margin. Me personally, if I had to sell on eBay at 120 minus eBay fees would be 105 minus shipping, I would be like break even. Like I could probably break even. I could probably make like a nickel on a booster box. Not super healthy, but honestly, being to where I could even break even, that's atypical historically for booster boxes like out of the gate at my small scale pricing. So I think we're at a pretty healthy spot overall. Where we'll be in 6 months, I have no idea. Largely dependent on restocks, reprints, all that good stuff. But Mason says you shaving affects me because I have to look at you. Good point. I guess you can always minimize it, right? You can always minimize it and just pull up something else to watch while you listen to me serenade you in the background. You ready to discuss what you're bringing to Dallas Fort Worth? Check out my eBay. Hit that nice affiliate link below. Some portion of what's on my eBay will be brought to Dallas. A lot of things will sell between now and then, so I honestly probably won't start thinking about it or packing for Dallas until like the week before. The week before, or the week of, I guess. I guess Monday, the week of. One thing I didn't do for Orlando, I didn't pull items off. I left them on eBay. I kind of YOLO'd it. I think at the end of the day, I double sold like 3 items. I had thought it was 2, but then I actually have one sitting on my desk right now that I'm pretty sure I sold in Dallas and I forgot to pull off, or Orlando, sorry. So I'm going to have to refund the individual that bought a Kyogre EX. Sorry to that buyer. But yeah, I'm not going to double list things. I'm not going to risk double selling things. So I'm going to pull everything down, quantity 0. I'm going to try to price to sell. But yeah, I'll gather the inventory that week. I'm going to bring Ultra Modern packs. I'm going to bring slabs, vintage and modern. I'm hopefully going to have some vintage sealed product as well. Probably not as heavy, honestly, as Orlando. Orlando, I found out that there is such a thing as too much sales to an extent. But yeah, let me show this card quick. And after I show this card, then we'll get back to the live chat. Just have a few periodic things to show throughout the stream. So anyone reading the label, 1999 Pokemon game, Charizard Hollow Black Dot Error. This is I don't know exactly when it started being recognized by PSA. Relatively recent though. It's relatively recent. And for anyone who's unaware, PSA doesn't label for like one-off errors. They label for legitimate, fairly. It's kind of interesting in the error community. For something to be legitimized, it needs to be widespread enough that a lot of people have pulled it, that there's some amount of documentation of people pulling it fresh from a pack. Like, think of the no stage Blastoise error where it says put it on the stage, but there's some kind of an obstruction where it says stage. Think of the War Turtle evolution box error. But with Charizard, it's a little more subtle than that. It's the black dot error. So down in the copyright date where it says Nintendo, so it says the copyright dates and then it says Nintendo Creatures Game Freak. In Nintendo, it has a black dot. And this is not a one-off error. This is not like a one-off ink error. It's widespread enough that PSA is actually recognizing the variant. They're labeling it. They're calling it the black dot error. So it is a formal, legitimate error that was... Again, if it's one-off, error collectors might value it. They might pay a premium for it, but PSA is not going to designate it. This one's widespread enough that PSA is designating it, and I will say this is a top pop. So this is one of two PSA 9 Black Dot Error base unlimited Charizards, and there are none higher. So at this time, there are none higher. For anyone who knows base set unlimited Charizard, the 10 rates are significantly low, like really, really low. Looking over this card, it's pretty clean. There's a white dot on the back bottom edge there. But if anyone has any interest, this is on my eBay. Asking price is $5,000 or best offer. I generally do buy it nows, but with more niche items that are harder to determine what the pricing is, generally go with a little bit higher of a buy it now. With an or best offer, I have a certain arrangement with the consigner. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose what they've given me as to what they may or may not auto decline, auto accept. But yeah, this is available on my eBay for $5,000. Buy it now or best offer. So I will get that posted on my Instagram as like an individual post and story. But for now, I figured I'd show it off here because I have this platform. I have this pulls out Sharpie. I think PSA and CGC would be very capable of determining the difference between an actual ink dot at the production facility and black Sharpie. Let me catch up on chat. SV is kind of like Sword Shield base, gonna have playable cards, but Stonkers not so much. LMAO. Yeah, and I don't know what the pull rates. What were the chases for Sword and Shield base? It was like the Zacian and Zamazenta, right? The gold cards. They weren't Espeon. They weren't Moonbryon tier. Or sorry, Umbreon. They weren't Moonbryon tier. So there is still possibility that Scarlet and Violet could just follow the similar formula of Sword and Shield, in that things start out easier, start out slower, start out less stonky in the base set. And then by the time we get this Scarlet Violet 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe there are 1 in 3,000 pull rate cards. Who knows? We'll have to just see where it goes. For vintage cards, what is the lowest expected grade you need to send them into CGC PSA? I have some EX cards that I expect a 3 to a 6. Is it worth looking into sending them? Generally speaking, it's kind of a weird phenomenon, and I don't think there's a ton of market depth to it. But PSA 1s and CGC 1s will outsell most grades between 2s and 8s. Not on really higher end cards, but even on mid to high end cards, 1s will outsell 3 to 6s. So I'm not advocating for this. I'm not saying to do it, but if the card were more damaged and were to get a 1, it would be more valuable. However crazy that sounds, that's just the world we live in right now. I don't expect that to last forever, especially if people kind of abuse that and oversaturate the thin demand that exists at PSA 1. But overall, I can't think of many, if any, EX cards that would have a fleshed out price range between like PSA 3 to 6 range or CGC. The cards I think of that are worthy of being graded at any grade are more like base set first edition holos, higher end gold stars. I wouldn't even grade like the Entei, Raikou, and Suicune in these kind of grades because they're just so plentiful in the higher grades. So yeah, personally, I don't really think set cards in the sub PSA 8 range are worthy of grading, except for the higher end, more exception rather than the rule. That's me personally. If they're sentimental to you, if you value encapsulating them and kind of preserving that card in that condition, and you just like the display, if you like the product, right now it costs you $19. At some point, we'll probably get the $15 special back, if not a cheaper one. So I'm not trying to tell you don't grade them. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. If it makes sense to you for the amount that it costs, then I would say do it. If you're doing it for resale value alone, I don't think you're going to achieve much unless they're 1s. Otherwise, I think you can just sell them as damaged raw, and you'll be better off. You'll sell it sooner. You won't pay that additional price. Thrifty says, if I bought my friend Ernie, my whiny friend Ernie, a present, but if he threatens to leave Discord, should I just flip it? I don't want to get into disputes between friends, so you're on your own for that one, Thrifty. I don't want to get in the middle. I had a customer file a did not receive item on eBay. My tracking says out for delivery and then awaiting delivery scan the next day. $60 slab. Whenever eBay steps in, will they hose me? If tracking does not show delivered, they will side with the buyer. I don't think that's eBay hosing you. Your job as the buyer, or your job as the seller, is to get the item delivered to the buyer, marked as delivered. Whether or not they actually get it, whether or not somebody steals it off their porch, that's not on you. You can't control it. But if the delivery company that you basically entrusted that job to doesn't mark it as delivered, the unfortunate thing is, yeah, I mean, the buyer's going to get their money back under the money back guarantee. eBay might end up refunding the buyer out of their own pocket instead of out of yours. But if you use priority mail, you probably use first class. For a $60 slab, I would use first class. But if you use priority mail, you would have $50 insurance included within the purchase price of the postage. So you might be able to go after USPS to get up to $50 back. But likely this was first class. Likely it was uninsured if I had to guess. So that's just kind of like one of those things, cost of doing business. You just have to eat it. Hopefully, I would push to the buyer. I would say, like, please be patient. I don't know what's going on, but USPS sometimes will have these issues where they mark things delivered early, or things just get like caught up for a day or two. So I would just push patience and hope that it ends up showing up. If it doesn't, I mean, kind of a cost of doing business thing. Question, why is everyone's favorite word to throw around lately bubble? Panga also asks, is the usage of the word bubble in a bubble? Potentially. I think anytime prices are really soaring and anytime they've gone up as they have, less in the English market currently. English market was more 2020 to 2021. Right now it's more like the Japanese. I think it's reasonable to at least contemplate and discuss whether or not something may be bubbly in a bubble. How much merit it has, I don't really know. There are definitely prices soaring in the Japanese markets. Whether or not they are going to sustain, whether or not they're going to keep rising from here, whether or not they'll ultimately pop. I mean, I would need more specific things to look at, and then I could give you my thoughts, my theory. But overall right now, I don't think Pokemon is in a bubble. I think things are bubbly. Certain things are bubblier than others, right? I would have absolutely said WotC was in a bubble. And I did say WotC felt like it was in a bubble when I was selling $1,000 Eevees and Pikachus. Those have fallen 80 or 90% now. So those have popped. Other things might be bubbling up. Other things have bubbled up and popped later. But yeah, that's kind of inherent to collectibles, right? That's going to be some amount of these inefficient markets that we play in. It's just a symptom of the illiquidity and just the nature of what we deal in. Here's the question I knew I was going to be getting today. Skya. Question, Trollin Toad announced Evo program shut down February next year. How does this affect you? It has destroyed my plans for both raw singles and for moving sealed product. How are you going to adapt? So as you mentioned, or I don't think you did mention, this announcement came yesterday at 4 or 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It came right around quitting time for me. So obviously I gave it some thought last night. I took my work home with me a little bit last night, more than I generally would like to, as far as thinking deeply about like business plans moving ahead. Troll Toad Evo has been a big part of my business. At the end of the day, this is why giving yourself a lot of runway, building a good foundation financially, and just having things in order, and having kind of there's the big difference of opinions between certain people on diversification. Spread out all your eggs so that they're not all in one basket. Some people say put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket closely. Well, in this case, if you have put all your eggs in the basket of Evo, that's what can happen. It can go very well, and a lot of the most rich people in the world put all their eggs in one basket and it panned out. But a lot of people that have not had such success, a lot of people who put all their eggs in one basket to watch that basket be stolen or crushed or whatever it may be, whatever thing you want to use in this metaphor. It's rocky. It's hard times. For me, thankfully, it was only one portion of my business, though a big one, not the majority. The majority of both my gross and my net is off platform. But yeah, for now, it's figuring out what aspects of my business are affected, what inlets and outlets are great thing, they gave us 10 months. So that gives you a lot of time. That gives you a lot of time to think through what to do. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just need to evaluate. If I was buying things that I could only sell through Evo, well, I got to stop buying those. And if that's basically it at the end of the day, right? If I was buying things that I could only or would only sell through Evo, I've got to just stop buying those things. And if not, I need to factor out, I had a fee structure when Evo was handling it. Time was really of no importance. Now, if it's being sourced back to me, my fees are generally going to go down. I mean, Evo did charge for their time, right? But I'll be getting higher margins, but at a cost of my time. My time is limited, so I just need to do the math. You just got to do the math on what amount of time do you have? What amount of time can you allocate to those things? What amount do you bring back from Troll and Toad? What amount do you just fire sale through their platform? Not even fire sale. Fire sale isn't necessarily needed unless you just have more than 10 months sales worth of quantity on any item. And for me personally, not too much of that going on. So yeah, it's fresh. I still need to think on it more. But overall, the timing was funny because I had just aggressively repriced my inventory, my entire inventory. It had been over 3 months that I had gone through and repriced my entire inventory all at once to match low list on the platform. I literally did that yesterday morning. So the timing was just funny. I was thinking I wanted to extract a little more capital out of it in the coming months. So I'm going to be extracting a lot more capital out of it in the coming months. So that's really a few minutes of my thought on everything to do with Evo shutting down. I'm sure I'll have more different takes to share down the line. I'm sure you'll see new items pop up on my eBay. Another funny thing about that, I hadn't sold a booster case or booster box of ultra modern Pokemon product since Battle Styles. I think the last product I sold on eBay, ultra modern sealed, direct from my distributor, was Battle Styles. And Scarlet and Violet, a week or two ago, I listed booster cases, and I'm going to be selling more of those through my eBay now. So there are certain goals that I'll be able to achieve better now with my eBay sales volume, I'm sure, because some amount of Troll and Toad is going to go away, just going to leave my business entirely. But some amount of it I'm going to insource. I'm going to insource back to me, back to my eBay. Maybe more of my website too. We'll have to see. But yeah, thankfully you got 10 months to figure it out, but definitely platform diversification is proving, I mean, for a batch of people back in the fall that got booted, and then for us fresh batch, everyone left is getting booted now too. So the Mexican hipster says, I have a PSA 7 of the black dot error, but it wasn't recognized at the time I graded. So yeah, in an instance like that, you should be able to send it to PSA and then get it re-encapsulated. You'll have to pay the fee. They're not doing it for like free, I don't think, but you'll have to just pay the re-encapsulation fee. I think if you go through the customer request center, you should be able to initiate that submission where you'll just get it re-encapsulated in the proper labeling. They'll remove the prior pop report. They'll add in the new one. I'm assuming you'd get a new cert number. Maybe you won't. Maybe they would just delete the entry for your cert number and then reissue the same cert number in the database for the black dot error. I'm not entirely sure how that works, to be honest. Have my consignment cards not sold because I didn't slip you a $20 bill. Yeah. For anyone who saw Sebastian's video on April 1st, he's got strats for getting PSA 10s. Dan pretends to not know Marnia's base. We needed a mid set as a filler coming off Crown Zenith, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin. Too much of a good thing is sometimes a bad thing. SV is perfectly mid. Reasonable take. SV is arting and people call it mid. How's it going, J-Rob? Going well over here. It's perfectly mid, Walrus. There's a difference. Coffee Yo says, how often do you listen to what other people say are good buys versus following your own gut? I mean, if they align, if my gut says something is a good buy and then I hear a bunch of other people saying it's a good buy, it probably helps sway me into like trusting myself more. If I'm the only one who thinks something is a good buy and my gut says it's very case by case, right? Like that massive binder collection buy that I bought, honestly, probably because they didn't want to see me get wrecked putting so much money out. But some people that knew a lot more about Dragon Ball Z, some people that knew a lot more about Yu-Gi-Oh, about Naruto, all the different IPs that were included in that massive collection I bought, some people were really pumping the brakes. Some people were saying that this is great stuff. It's obviously worth something. It's worth a lot. But the $25,000 ask price was giving people some pause. And honestly, my gut said to go for it, and I don't think there was definitively anyone that said like you absolutely should not do this or you absolutely should do this. But if anything, it felt slightly more towards the leaning away from it. Like 25 is too much, maybe at 20, maybe at 15, something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I went for it and it worked out. There's been things that, I mean, the whole slab optimization last July, there were a lot of people that pushed hesitation, that were like, this is probably not going to go how you think it will. This is probably not going to pan out. In spite of those people saying those things, I went for it and I got pretty wrecked on it. So yeah, I have anecdotes sharing towards every outcome of this scenario. So how often, what percentage, I can't really attribute a certain percentage at the end of the day. Like, I do trust myself more than I trust anyone else. So at the end of the day, like my gut would be weighted a lot more heavily. I guess that's all I can really answer with that. Um, just got home from a job fair. It was a success. Glad to hear that, trainer Trina. Congrats on the new job. Mr. Walrus. Yeah, we never got the Dan5 discount code. I will be enabling a lot of the discount codes. I think I do have access to a menu where I can enable certain discount codes like TCA5. Like there are other codes in there too. I think Super Duper Danny, and there are other creators that have them as well. I'll probably be enabling just about every discount code on my inventory because it's got to go, right? It's got to go. Some amount I could ship back. There are certain things that I'm going to think more in depth in the coming days, weeks, months. One thing I think is important, obviously not everyone in this chat, not everyone that's watching is in Evo. This isn't relevant to a lot of people, but I think one way to like broaden it out and make it more relevant to more people, when you get such big news, I really think it is important to like sleep on it. I don't think you should get so like Troll and Toad is offering the ability to just like return it all. They're offering me the ability to just snap order it all back. I mean, it would take some amount of time for them to organize all the pallets and get them all shipped, put together and shipped. They're offering, so one, I could ship it all back immediately. Two, I could have them buy it all. They could make an offer and buy it all. And then three, I can just like proceed. So, well, some blend of the two, or just proceeding to sell over the next about 10 months. I remember very, very similar thing. Well, similar in some ways, but different in others. PWCC Vault. When PWCC Vault was having its messy divorce from eBay, a lot of people just had that snap reaction of like, man, I need to get it all out. I need to get it out now. And they recalled their whole PWCC vaults. In my opinion, at the time, I was kind of voicing like, I don't feel any pressure to do anything too quickly. I'm going to kind of sit on it, sleep on it. In hindsight, I was proud of myself. I think I made the right decision in not snapping and needing to get it back within like a day or a week. But in hindsight, I should have gotten it back more quickly than I did, because a lot of those things have just generally WotC. A lot of things have kind of trended down in the time since they've been there. I'm recalling my PWCC inventory relatively soon. I've still not done it yet, but at some point I will be doing it because I really haven't done much selling on the platform since. But yeah, like I guess the general life lesson, the general thing is when you get big news, figure out if it's time sensitive and how time sensitive it is. So I've been given an end date of February 1st, 2024 on this whole Troll and Toad Evo thing. There are interim dates that are relevant as far as when we can stop submitting new things and all this and that. That's getting deeper in it than I need to. But yeah, if it's not super time sensitive, don't make like an emotional quick reaction and do something that can't be undone. Like if I recall my whole inventory, well, now I've got it all on hand. I might not even have space for it. I might not have an outlet to sell it. That would be a pretty rash decision made based on emotion that would leave me in a bad spot. They gave me a date, so I have a date to work with. I have a deadline. There's no need to make a snap decision today, tomorrow, even next week, next month. I mean, I've got some time, so I'm not going to emotionally react. I'm going to try to sit down, open up some spreadsheets, pen and paper, crunch the numbers, and figure out the best path forward. And 24 hours after I got the announcement, I do not yet have the answer, and I'm not stressed about it. So, yeah, you say booyah. I wasn't really expecting it. I always had in the back of my mind it could happen. And honestly, like, again, diversification of sales channels, things like that. Just think about it. Like, think about every point of failure. Like, I used to be a chemical engineer. I still have a lot of the principles and everything in my mind. Part of being a chemical engineer, I had to look at a process and I had to think about FMEA we called it, failure mode effect analysis. So if this part of the process were to fail, what implications would that have towards the business, towards the product, towards the safety of our workers, employees, towards the safety of the community in which our company, in which our process was located? So every part of your business, you really should do an FMEA. What if my eBay were to be suspended? Say you sell on Whatnot. What if my eBay, Whatnot, Troll and Toad Evo, Heritage, Golden, PWCC, whatever platforms you sell on, your Shopify, what if your income from that one stream were completely just frozen for a day, a week, a month, gone entirely? I don't think eBay is going anywhere. I think eBay is a much safer one. So what you do in an FMEA, you actually rank the likelihood of that having an issue and the severity of the outcome, and then you do like a multiplication between the two to get a score. So for me, like, eBay would be the worst to have fail, but in my opinion, per my per my review of all my sales platforms, eBay would be the least likely to fail as well. So one, like Troll and Toad, proportionally to how much more likely it would be to fail, it's essentially just shown that it's failing. It's just failing slowly on a timeline where it's going to be gone soon. It would have had a much higher likelihood to have failure, and it wouldn't have had quite the same extent of ramifications to my business, but it would have had a higher score. It would have had a higher score of like, you should really look into what happens if this goes away, because even though it's not going to be the most detrimental to your business, proportionally it's more likely to. And yeah, so risk assessments is what Ponga calls them at work. FMEAs, if you're in an engineering or like production related field, is probably something that people would be familiar with. But at the end of the day, I actually have intended to make a video on it for some time, but my different business income streams, revenue streams, and how I think of each one and how I optimize each one. And it'll be interesting to make in the context of one of my major ones. Honestly, next to eBay, as far as gross numbers, next to eBay, Troll and Toad was second in line. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how I navigate it, what new things go to my eBay. Now, Troll and Toad Evo going away will make my risk of failure of eBay, like, I still don't think it's going anywhere, but if it were, eBay will be a much higher chunk of my total gross and net sales. So eBay failing, some of my eggs just left the Troll and Toad basket and went into the eBay basket. So I need to consider that. I need to think about how that affects my business, if and when and how I want to mitigate risk with respect to that. So yeah, a lot of considerations. And I think a lot of people just navigate through life without ever doing much of this. When it comes to, and again, I'm a Pokemon business. I'm saying some things that aren't relevant. A lot of people weren't Evo merchants. A lot of you watching might not even sell on eBay. But this is relevant to personal finance too. Look at your household. Say it's a 2-person household with 2 kids, like mine is, like a lot of households are in the United States, in the world. You have 2 incomes, you are just fundamentally safer than a 1-income household in many respects, right? If you have, the ideal scenario is that you have 2 incomes, both exceeding individually the household budget, right? Even better, you would have 2 incomes exceeding the household budget on their own, and then you would have passive income from investments exceeding it on its own as well. You would have 3 points of failure. Well, you would have 2 points of failure, the 2 jobs that you rely on. Either one could fail or both could fail, and you would be fine if you had passive income to offset it. Very, very rare scenario. Very few people are in that situation. But yeah, like, I think very few people, a lot of people take for granted how stable, how safe 40-hour-a-week jobs are, 9-to-5 corporate jobs. I think a lot of people think that they will always have them, they'll always be there for them. I quit my job. I stuck my neck out there, took a risk, decided to quit my job. I left some amount of safety. But if the economy were to get really bad, and when the economy did get really bad in 2008, there were layoffs where I used to work, and they could come again. They could have came for me. They might not have came for me. Who knows? But at the end of the day, my business, doing the whole FMEA, doing the whole risk assessment, my household doing the same thing. My household is here. My business is here. My wife's job is here. How all the things interconnect, and they're really things that people should consider having fail safes in place. But I think a lot of people just like YOLO it, go through life without doing too much of those considerations. And a lot of times it probably goes fine, but when it doesn't, it can be bad. And I don't want to be confronted with that. So yeah, a lot of rambling, a lot of conversations there. But I think it's all interesting conversation. At least for me, it's very interesting. Dan's pack breaker art continues to grow. That is a new budding part of my business. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. I could go from, I haven't made any decision. I haven't committed to anything yet. But as of right now, as of today, as of yesterday, even before that announcement came, I was on a schedule for one monthly break, 1 month, one break per month. I did a special one for Scarlet Violet. So basically 1 to 1.5 per month. One every month, baseline guaranteed. And then maybe one here and there for special releases. Like I'm going to do one for MetaZoo Native. I just did one for Scarlet Violet. I had done a March breaker stream rip and ship before that. So maybe I'll be doing weekly rip and ships. I don't think so. Maybe it'll be every other week. Maybe it'll stick with once a month. Who knows? But that is a consideration. That is some of my diversification, right? Maybe that will have to expand to cover some of the shortfalls of 1, sales, and then 2, like revenue from losing Troll and Toad. Follow up on the customer who filed did not receive. They have not replied to my responses. I gave them tracking info and I was sorry. And to definitely check with the post office, no response. Hopefully it'll just turn up in the next couple of days. I've had that happen from time to time. Hey Dan, how do you price cards with a low pop and no recent sales? Found a Reverse Hollow Expedition 94 Bulbasaur sitting in a box, but not sure how to price it. How much money do you want for it? Price it that way. My consignor was confronted with having a low pop. I think at the time, it was actually a pop 1 at the time that they graded it. And then now, just last night when I was listing it, I did a pop search for the cert number, and it's pop 2. So they were confronted with a pop 2 card that is never publicly sold. It's never publicly sold with the PSA thing. PSA 9s go for about $1,000. This is a very high liquidity card at the $1,000 range, whatever they go for exactly, in the unlimited non-error variant. So how they decided was to go 5x on the price, buy it now or best offer. If there's a buyer out there that agrees with that and wants to pay that, well, done deal. I mean, could they have gotten more? Who knows? But they set a price at the end of the day they were comfortable taking. It's their property. It's their item. Figure out how much money you want for it at the end of the day. If you want to use past data points, I mean, the things that I always say, look for the closest analog. Look at similar condition cards, similar set. Look at Charmander, Pikachu, Squirtle, other starters. At the end of the day, though, they're all just data points. You own the card. You have to price it. And if a buyer agrees to pay, well, then you've just set the price. Could it have been more? Could it have been less? You can't drive yourself crazy with those things. Set a price you'd take. Maybe go a little bit high with buy it now or best offer, and then just run it. That's all you can do. These things, the intrinsic value is 0, right? These things only have arbitrary prices that we place on them. So will eBay take that into consideration at all? At the end of the day, a lot of these things are like automatic reviews. And as far as I understand, if it's an automatic review just done by the system, it will see that it was not marked as delivered and you will lose the case. If you dispute it, if you dispute their consideration of the case, automatically done by the robots within eBay, the automated systems, you will get a human humans are very unpredictable, and you might get some that say, hey, this is a good seller, we're gonna refund you out of our own pocket so that it comes at no cost to you. Or you might get a human that is just like, yeah, it's your cost of doing business, not ours. So very, very case by case, very, very case by case. So he doesn't trust his wife. Clip that. I don't know what I said that led to that comment, but oh man, I'll have to go back. Send me the clip, Chavals, because I don't know what I said that led to that, but I very much trust my wife. I very much appreciate her contributions to the household too. Kind of a meme around this channel that my wife brings home the bacon, so I can go play with Pokemon cards because the wife pays the bills. Thoughts on Card Shop Live fire selling Metazoo? They are getting out of a product line they no longer want to carry, so they're pricing it to sell. I don't know how much more to say than that. Dan, considering that you grew up in the Kanto era, would you say that Pokemon 151 is actually going to be the best set of all time? Yeah, it's good for business for the next set to be the best set of all time. So I'm a big fan of how the next set is always the best set of all time, and I hope that continues. What's your sell-through rate on Evo? Are they making you pay shipping back for everything? I assume that would be pretty expensive if you have lots of inventory. I have 10 months to sell stuff. Whatever doesn't sell within 10 months, I can either go pick up or they will ship back to me at my cost. They're not going to charge fulfillment fees. But if I priced it right, everything could sell within 10 months. So it's really not that big of a concern. Sell-through rate is, again, sell-through rate is a function of price. So if I price things right, I could absolutely sell everything within 10 months. Besides for maybe some, I might have some obscene quantities of some stupid bulk stuff, but I bulked most of that off a while ago. Talking about risk assessments at work. Yeah, let's do a Catch 'em All Collectibles employee handbook stream. That sounds like fun. Bro, we're flipping cards to afford McChickens. You're talking a lot of financial literacy. Is C1 V1 equals C2 V2 the most important equation ever? No. Self-employed construction worker here. Having some form of passive income is awesome for me when there's a downturn in the economy and work slows down. Yeah, I mean, just talking generally about some of the ways that I've diversified my income when I was considering taking a leap to go full-time. So I started this YouTube channel in March of 2021 when I was probably like coin flip. I was probably 50-50. I might go full-time in this sometime in the next couple of years. I didn't know for sure. 4 months later in July, I did go full-time. Part of me creating the Instagram was more to document things, document my journey. I knew I was going to be selling a lot of cards and I just wanted to document them as I went. But it was also in the back of my mind, like if I ever did this as a business, I should have some social presence. Social presence, one, to help me like move product, help me have a brand, help me have a name. And then two, like not so much through Instagram, but more through YouTube. I don't make a lot through YouTube, but anything is something, right? Anything is something. And if I can make it so eBay, instead of eBay being 80% of my net profit, if I can get 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5% of my net profit coming through eBay affiliate links tied to my YouTube, if I can have it coming through Google AdSense tied to my YouTube, if I can have it, I don't know that I'll ever get there. I've had some people reach out, but if I can have some kind of a sponsored thing with certain brands, with certain things like that, I do have the Graded Guard link in the description below. So I guess I do have some amount of like direct sponsorship, affiliation, affiliate code, things like that. So yeah, the more I can do stuff like that, the more it just de-risks me and the more it increases my just baseline income to some extent. That income is very choppy. The Patreon is there too. If you want to support, Jake and I run the Pokenomics Patreon. That is another avenue of income that isn't reliant on me directly selling things. And if eBay, if Troll and Toad, if PWCC, if these things for whatever reason, if there was just some kind of a freeze to them, they would provide me some amount of income, more than zero. So Another big thing that we had in the recent couple years, PSA functionally closing down. I mean, that was a big thing. At the time that PSA closed down, I was not yet full-time, so it wasn't as relevant to me. But think how big of a thing that is. Like, a lot of people are PSA only, CGC only, BGS only. I do a little bit of all three. I've said many times, I've been critical of grading companies, and I think that all of them do deserve some amount of criticism, but they all do provide great value, both to collectors and to businesses. I think they provide more value to businesses than collectors, honestly. But yeah, at the end of the day, there are merit to all of them. I actively have cards at all three companies right now, in all three companies, small backlogs. If and when CGC, BGS, or PSA individually were to fail, were to cease to exist, it would not completely cripple my business. I mean, if I had to rank them, if I had to prioritize them, I am most fundamentally tied to PSA by far. 80 to 90% maybe of my new submissions going through PSA. Of my current inventory, maybe 60% is PSA and 35% is CGC and 5% BGS. But if and when PSA were to, for some reason, close and not take new submissions, I have continued relationships with BGS and CGC. I know their systems. I know how to optimize. I know their grading scales. So yeah, I think it's important to diversify. Again, some people would say, I'm going to put all my eggs in the PSA basket. The PSA one is the best one. That's the only one. If and when something were to happen to where they were to shut down temporarily, permanently, whatever, I don't think they are. That's just a big risk, right? That goes back to your risk assessment. That goes back to your FMEA. And that's selling platforms. That's again, like YouTube. If my YouTube were to get banned, if my YouTube were to get blocked, if my Google account got hacked or whatever, that has happened in the community. People getting their Instagrams hacked, their YouTubes hacked. Those things happen, and you just need to be ready. If all your income, if all your revenue, if all your messaging, any of that is all in one place, if there's one link in the chain that can fail and completely ruin you, you really need to make sure that chain's not going to break. You really need to do all you can. So yeah, really, I hope people are finding it interesting. But yeah, really interesting conversations coming up from this whole thing. Any feeling or anticipation for eBay Live? I think they'll do it a lot. I need to think of how to word this. I don't think they'll allow the things that are currently going on Whatnot to happen. I don't think there will be duck races, wheel spins. I don't think there will be layered gambling, bounties, things like that. I don't think they'll have it. I think on eBay it will be, you will pay X price for Y product. I don't think there'll be gambling percentages, certain things being added in. I hope there's not. I hope eBay manages that well. So yeah, I think they'll just keep it way more limited on the selling side, who has access to it. Right now, they've been doing extremely limited. They did a P Football Pete stream. They've done various one-off streams with different individuals. I don't know if it'll stay like that forever, but I don't think it'll be a free-for-all like some other platforms are. Dan, I keep telling my wife I'm self-employed, but she said I'm just a bum. What should I do? Well, is she right or wrong? Because I guess what you should do hinges on whether or not she's right or wrong. If she's right, I mean, you should find a way to go do something productive. But if she's wrong, then I guess that's more of a relationship problem. And I'm not out here to give relationship advice. Questions. You believe in ghosts? I do not personally believe in ghosts. I don't believe in haunted ghosts, anything like that. I had a serious question. When you put price stickers on your slabs at CAC, do you physically put it on the slab or a protective sleeve? Always on the sleeve, never on the slab. One annoying thing about PWCC, when I do recall my inventory, anyone who's bought a card from them would know they have a barcode that goes on the back, and it's just annoying. It's annoying to have to pull off. Sleeve then sticker for sure. Yeah, Ray knows what's up. I'm going to catch up with chat, and then I'm going to show the consignment that's going to auction tomorrow night for 10-day. The reason I don't have a sleeve on this Charizard is because I wanted it to be more visible for the stream. I actually do have a sleeve. I have a sleeve somewhere. Well, I have a stack of them unused, but I did have a sleeve where the consigner put some notes. There were some notes written right on the sleeve, and there was actually a circle around the error too. So I didn't want to obstruct the Charizard. Now it's in a nice new sleeve with the PSA logo on it. So it's back in a sleeve. It was just for visibility reasons. Sell or hold the Poncho 10s. If I own Poncho 10s, I would personally sell them. What are your goals? What's your cost basis? What's your cash flow? So many considerations on what the answer would be for you. But for me, inventory, sell it. Nice, Dan. I just got a haircut too. Retro looking fresh as well. Hopefully Retro will bless us with a video where or actually he did. Did he have, I listen to YouTube. I don't watch it. 95% of my YouTube consumption is just listening with it like minimized or very far over on my right screen. I don't know. I just watched a Retro video. I think he did have his haircut in his video. But honestly, I listened to it more than I watched it, so I'm not sure. Hit the like button, please. 81 watching. Let's get to 50 likes. I appreciate you, Retro. Looks like Retro got us up to 34. Let's see if me reading and highlighting his comment, let's see if that can get us to 50. What do you usually prefer to send to CGC compared to PSA? If it's got a dent, it's getting sent. I think that's a Retrospecs quote. We've got him right here in chat. So yeah, anything that CGC will give a bigger number than PSA will, which generally speaking, there are certain damages that they'll give a much higher grade, like any dents, dings, indents, things like that. Other than that, very thin window of like things that would get a 9 at PSA but would get a CGC 9.5. If I have just massive quantity, if I have 100 or 200 of a promo, I might just send out some to CGC, some to PSA, some to BGS, so I can hit consumers. Some people only collect CGC. Some people only collect BGS. It's less than those that collect PSA, generally speaking, but there's still some amount that do. So yeah, I want to make a product for every consumer. So Retro always pumping paywalls. He's a big fan of paywalls. CGC, tons of CGC slabs are selling every day. Again, it all comes down to optimizing what card you have. There are cards, I don't want to spill all the plays, but yeah, there are cards that give a perfectly healthy margin in CGC. Might they give a heavier margin, a bigger margin in PSA? Maybe, but PSA currently costs a lot more than CGC, and it takes a lot longer to turn it around. So time is money. There are definitely plays out there still to be employed with CGC, in my opinion. Shout out to PWCC for making me peel stickers for an hour a week. Dan sells everything. Ernesto says, hold the Ponchi. Like, that card for certain individuals with certain goals is a hold at today's prices. That card with my goals for me is a sell at today's prices. That's what it comes down to. People want universal answers. People just want universal truths. People want no fence sitting. They just want yes or no, black or white, whatever it may be. That's not the way it works. It's always with respect to, we need more context, right? We need nuance. We love nuance. Dan's a little dusted. Forgive the homie. Sell or hold Quaxley sitting cuties. So I'm going to flip-flop. Right after I said that it's always with respect to context. This isn't a sitting cutie. This is a big dude. Always a hold. Always a hold. Always a buy, always a hold. So yeah, I got off the fence, but I did flip-flop on what I just said 30 seconds ago. Sitting cuties have not yet come out for Quaxley, I don't think. But when they do, I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna build a very big, long position on Quaxley. I'm just searching really quickly to make sure there's not sitting cuties, because ooh, I think there are new sitting cuties. If there are sitting cuties, you guys are gonna have to bear with me while I check out with 50 Quaxleys. For some reason, my Pokemon Center's not loading. Must be everyone panic buying sitting cuties. There's a big batch. There's a big batch of new sitting cuties. Ooh, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to buy some of these. I don't think there are any that are gonna sell out so quickly. Not the ones that I need. But yeah, I see some in here that are must-haves. I don't see Quaxley. Wow, there are 5-6 pages, if not more. Anyways, let me continue on through the chat. Rusty just buzzed his face. Number 39 looking as well. Thank you for the content on my morning commute. How do you deal with burnout? I haven't really been faced with it, but I've been asked this a lot. It feels like a lot of people are burning out. If you're burning out of my content, turn it off. Thankfully, I've not really had that feeling. But if and when I did, I would try to locate the source, and I would try to remove the source as much as possible from my life. Like, if you're burning out of your job, I mean, you could look into changing jobs, you could look into mixing things up, but to some extent, like, you need to pay your bills and all that, put food on the table. But yeah, like, if burnout is something that you're seeking out and choosing to engage in, stop. Just do it less. So yeah, if I was burning out on PokeTube, I would just not watch PokeTube. I've changed how much I engage with it. I've changed my posting schedule. I've generally lessened so maybe I was feeling, I mean, I didn't really feel this. I didn't feel this in any way. But if I did, I would just lessen it. I mean, I did lessen it. Maybe I was on the path towards doing that and I subconsciously decided to do it less. But yeah, overall, it's just like, lessen it to the extent that you can, or find other ways to engage in it, whatever, to avoid the burnout. How's it going, Java? Nice to see you. A lot of wrenches in here. You better act right. Ernesto asking Rusty, how does he feel about Quaxley and the evolutions? You don't evolve Quaxley. They just released Gen 5 sitting cuties. Mason's stocking up for the store, I'm sure. Did you see his eyes light up when the sitting cutie restock hit? I've never seen Dan so happy. I think they go by generations, so still quite a while until Quaxley comes out. Man, riveting content. Watching me browse sitting cuties on another window that you can't even see. Thoughts on ETH outperforming WotC? All the pillars of the hobby told me NFTs are a scam. Thanks. Proportionally, most NFTs I think are a scam. So were they wrong? But yeah, like anything in Pokemon, like anything anywhere else, do your own due diligence and watch out. There's a lot of people in life that are going to try to find a way to separate you from your money. And a lot of them have found an easy path through NFTs, crypto, things like that. So I've done well with crypto over the years. I'm currently holding crypto that's much higher than my cost basis. I'm playing with house money. I sold out all my original cost basis. Same thing with NFTs. But a lot of people have gotten wrecked by them. A lot of millionaires created. It's a zero-sum game at the end of the day, just like collectibles. It's a zero-sum game, so be careful out there. Retro says the average IQ in Pokemon is sub 20. What's the average IQ in NFTs then? I wonder how it'll be in Pokemon NFTs. With that, I'm going to switch over to the other camera and I'm going to show off my nice Mario consignment. I don't know if the owner of the consignment is here in chat, But yeah, these have been with me for a while. And via Buy It Now, we're going to move them to auction. We're trying to time the news cycle right. We got the nice Mario movie that just dropped today. So we got the nice Mario with the spiky red shells. For anyone unfamiliar, I mean, obviously these are BGS cases, but 1993 Ban Presto Prisms is the release for these Mario cards. So yeah, interesting, pretty niche, pretty... first time I saw these when I got them in for consignment. But yeah, here they are. Pretty cool, iconic characters. Pretty big IP we've got going on here. We got Luigi, Mario, and Peach. Nice mint 9 grade. We got the upside down back. I still can't figure out how to flip these the right way. There we go. I figured it out. Probably the second to last one. We got all the bob-ombs. We got parachuting Mario gliding in. And then there's another stack. Were there more Marios? Oh yeah, there's one more Mario. So let's show the last Mario. We've got Bowser. Some more 1993 Ban Presto. So this next stack is all Bandai Card-ass. We have 3 Gundam Force. I did have a little bit of Gundam in my 25K binder collection that I bought. So yeah, 1991 Gundam. Pretty unique inventory. Cool part about the consigning, I see things I've never seen before. I have the pleasure of having these pass through my hands, and I get to show them off to the world, move them on to their next stop, potentially final resting place from whoever buys them. And then we have a couple 1992 Bandai Card-ass Honden Part 13. So if you look on my eBay via the link below, these are not currently shown. These were up as Buy It Nows tomorrow night. Thursday night at 9 p.m. They will all go live 1 minute apart. They will be ending not this Sunday, but next Sunday. They'll be ending Sunday, the 16th of April. So yeah, if you're interested in any of these, no idea what they'll go for, 99-cent free shipping, true auctions. So if you want to check those out, be sure to follow my store and go check them out. Been looking at the modern GameStop stamped promos here in the UK. Ours are stamped with the set logo, the same as pre-release cards. Is that exclusive, or did you get them as well? I'm honestly not sure. I'm not a big variant guy. I'm not up to speed on all the different releases and all the different what's international exclusive, what we get here. Someone in chat might have already answered you. Somebody might know. How's it going, Melfi Collectibles? I do have, I didn't mention it yet, but I got the banner up top. I got the Kanto Pokédex Challenge ongoing still. I'm going to run that through the month of April. I'm just going to like passively leave it sitting there. If anyone wants to donate, the link's below. A Pikachu will dance right here if you do it. Our goals are down here. Very, very close to adding a Scarlet and Violet booster box to the giveaway. Not too many comments on the video to enter the giveaway. As of right now, I'm giving away a Charizard UPC. If and when we get to $1,000, which I think I owe, every Friday I donate for all the people that accept my challenge. I think by Friday, when I pay out what I owe for people accepting my challenge and then some beating me, I think we'll be over 1,000. So the Scarlet and Violet booster box will definitely be added to the giveaway for sometime in early May. $5,000, the stretch goal for an Evolving Skies booster box. That one's pushing it. We're not on pace for that, but I'm going to do my best. So yeah, that is there. Links in the description below if anyone would like to support. The link to the video is in the description as well, I believe, if you would like to accept my challenge and up my personal donation. I think I'm up to, of the $941 donated, I think like 400 of that is me. But yeah, I really appreciate the people who have accepted and the people who supported by donating directly. So I don't have the link to the video in my description, but I do have a link to the Tiltify, which has a link to the video if you're interested. Continuing on though. DCA Gaming does not know much about the new evolutions. All you need to know is Quaxley is the starter to choose, and then don't evolve him because his evolutions get kind of rough. I appreciate you, Java. Mason says, I need to do the challenge. When's the deadline? I would say by the end of April for sure. Me personally, I plan on doing the challenge again. So the first time I clearly didn't study. I only got 88. The second time I'm actually going to study a little bit. I'll probably do it during a live stream. I know a few people have accepted Basic Trainer. I think Java did. Quite a few people have done it. Some people have done it during a live. Some people have done a pre-recorded video. Some people have just done an Instagram post. However you want to accept it is fine. I think video just kind of like pushes it out to more people, so it's the ideal route. Rusty initially did it on Instagram, and then he realized he cheated because he did 15 minutes instead of 8. So then he redid it via a video. And yeah, I really appreciate everyone who's accepted. But yeah, anytime in April would be great, Mason. I'll probably sometime mid-month I'll announce like the date for the final live stream where I do the giveaways, and I will announce I'll put like an end date into the Tiltify because as of right now I just have it open-ended. Ray says, I wonder who sent those Marios. Yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Retro says, super sick watching people steal his plays and then paper hands them. Champion says, do you finally have all your cards back from Ludkins yet? Yeah, I showed them off on a live stream a few months back. I think I've had everything back for a few months now. My last couple returns were Bumblebee Pikachus. I sent out 100 Bumblebee Pikachus and also coins. A bunch of coins came back. But they came back a few months ago. A little over 2 years was the turnaround time on them. What's the best way to sell a card that was sent immediately to get graded the day of release? The card should arrive in a few weeks. Likely, you won't be the first sale. First to market is a tough game to play because there's a lot of people out there who get product earlier. A lot of stores have access to product ahead of time. Pre-releases happen. People pull cards at pre-releases and they sent cards immediately for grading. Likely someone submitted earlier than you and paid a higher fee than you and will get it back sooner. So depending on what the first few sales were like, I would tread differently. Me personally, the last time I had a play like that, a complete like paper hands, I don't like auctions. I don't like auctions at all. What I did was with the special delivery Charizard, last auction was like 700. So I did a buy it now for 675. The thing was tanking like this. So I just I lightly undercut the last auction to just get it sold same day. Auctions take a day, 3 days, 5 days, a week, 10 days, however long you set. I kind of joke about how auctions is the paper hands way to sell. More paper hands, peak paper hands is like actually a sub market price, buy it now, that will sell within minutes or hours instead of days. So yeah, me personally, I would do a buy it now to just get it sold because you know what way the price is trending. Unless it's like the one exception to the rule, Moonbryon. Most cards just tank out of the gate, race to the bottom until they find their bottom, which is usually a long ways below the first couple sales. I appreciate you, Basic. Basic linked my video in the chat. I'm assuming it's my video. Let me check to make sure he's not. Yeah, he did. I was gonna say let me check to make sure he's not trolling with like with a Rickroll or something. Appreciate you, Mason. So yeah, I'm fully caught up on chat. If anyone has any questions, I'm here for 15 more minutes, just hanging out. Yeah, I got 675 for SDC Charizard. I don't know what they're going for now. 100 something. What are they? Let me look what they're going for now. Special delivery Charizard PSA 10. I see a buy it now for 200. So it must be like 150. There's some sales. There's some sales. As low as 180, as high as 250. So higher. I'm still reasonably high, in my opinion. But yeah, it's if you truly are first to market, some people like doing a promoted auction. You can pay a little additional fee. eBay will pump your auction higher. The thing I don't like about auctions too, you run the risk of someone wasting either 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, or 10 days of your time. If somebody shills it because they want their own to sell for higher, they'll shill yours, not pay for it, and then they'll try to sell theirs for higher using yours as a comp. So yeah, I would lean towards buy it now, priced well is relative to what they're currently doing, and I would require immediate payment so that when it sells, it's eBay authenticity guarantee, it's final sale, assuming it's over 200 or 250. But yeah, that's how I do it. Dan, can you remind me how you prepare and package booster packs for grading? I do have booster packs right near me. I have all the equipment required for grading booster packs right near me, so you're in luck. Let me go to the other screen. It's as simple as card saver. Pack does not go in the card saver. Pack just uses the card saver as backing. And then those go into a PSA graded card sleeve. One funny thing, I still can't get over the play. The play that PK is making is hilarious with the modern packs through Z&G Emporium. But he custom cut sheets of cardboard. He custom cut cardboard cutouts to do the pack. Like, he doesn't know card savers exist. I mean, I use card savers for cards where they go in the card saver, and I use card savers for packs where they just are the rigid backing. I mean, this makes it so they're not going to like bend as easily. And I've submitted hundreds of packs, probably nearing 1,000 packs this way, and that's the way I always recommend. Flips is indeed tomorrow. Nick and I are going to be recording tonight. We're doing the new format for season 3, where we answer your questions from the prior episode in a premiere, a pre-recorded premiere, and then we go live around like 1:15. So yeah, 1:15 p.m. tomorrow we'll be live. The premiere should be starting sometime between 12:45 and 1. So yeah, looking forward to Flips tomorrow. I did mention I have a couple cards to show off that were sent to me. Shout out to Steve. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm not going to try to say it. But yeah, he created a Kickstarter, TCG. If anyone wants more information, I would yield to DeGreenshiz. Josh actually did like an interview style thing with him. Let me see if I can just find his video. I'll probably link his video in the description. As I said, this is not like go invest in this TCG. This is not go support this Kickstarter. This is just, hey, this thing exists. If you want to support the game, if you want to support the cards, check out the cards, whatever it may be, feel free to check out Josh's video where he actually interviews the creator of the TCG. And yeah, these are the cards. These were sent to me for free. I'm not being paid at all. But yeah, it's a game, Gem Blenders TCG. If people want to see the holofoil pattern, the arts on them, this is what we're working with. This is what we've got. It's out there. The Kickstarter's active. So I'm not telling you go back it. I'm not telling you this is going to stonk to the moon. I know nothing more than you do. I did watch Josh's video with the creator. But yeah, those are there. I'll link Josh's video in the description. And I think he did link the Kickstarter in his description. So that's all there if you're interested. I don't really know. I've mentioned it so many times. I don't play any TCGs. I don't play Pokemon. I don't play MetaZoo. I don't know anything about it. I collect the cards. So yeah. We've got 10 minutes left. So 10 minutes left. I'll hang out if anyone's got any more questions. Is Dan an influencer? I've been sent cards from a couple Kickstarters now that I've showed. I don't know how the other one's doing. I do have another one. I don't know how that one panned out. But I guess so. I do get, so I made a couple of videos back last year when the MetaZoo NFTs came out, and I did buy some MetaZoo NFTs because they had access to like exclusive product. They had some real world utility. Since I put NFT in some of my YouTube video titles, I get on a daily, weekly basis emails about like, hey, promote our NFTs, promote our crypto, promote this, that, offering to pay me like $1,000. I don't know how legitimate they are. I'm assuming they would pay me in their crypto or with their NFTs. I'm assuming they would not pay me with actual money. But yeah, I get on a weekly basis, people like, hey, this is our new crypto, this is our new NFT. If you want to do a 15-second ad read, if you want to do a 30-second ad read, I've not taken and I do not intend to take any of those. But if someone sends me like some cards, if someone wants something like that just shown, I'm not going to give you, go buy this, this is what I think of it. I'm just going to show it, and yeah, that's that. Careful at CAC, he'll be doing a trade up challenge. Help him for a shout out. Not media advice. What personal finance media do you consume? Books, podcasts, etc. I should add, I created a link. I will actually make a note to add this. Affiliate links are great. They kind of fall in line with some of the topics of conversation, and I actually did mention them earlier. But yeah, I have a products I use, a recommended products tab on my website. And as of right now, I link my packing supplies, I link my slab sleeves, label printers, inventory storage, my streaming equipment. I'll make a new section in that, and I will, what I'll do is I'll make a new section in that for books that I would recommend. Books that I enjoy, basically. The ones that come to mind, I know I've been asked this a few times. I probably say the same ones most of the time, but Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. That one's a real standout one. I'm actually not all the way through it yet. I've been reading it for so long. The Intelligent Investor, I believe that one was by Benjamin Graham. A Random Walk Down Wall Street. I forget who wrote all of these. The Simple Path to Wealth. I think that one was J.L. Collins. Let me check myself. The Simple Path to Wealth. The Millionaire Next Door is another one that I recommend. Yeah, The Simple Path to Wealth is J.L. Collins. A lot of personal finance, financial independence type books. One podcast I've been listening to more. I'll kind of I'll get in different moods, and I'll get in different things where I'll just take what the algorithm feeds me. And if I enjoy one episode, I'll add 2 or 3 to my watch later. And if I enjoy the 2 or 3, I'll just go through like a week-long spurt where I just go through like 20 from their backlog that sound interesting. One that I'm currently going through is with Paula Pant, Afford Anything, it's called. Afford Anything. She does a podcast, and then she has like a co-host on her podcast. It's actually pretty interesting because they do like the same kind of Q&A that I do. I do it for Pokemon. I do it with whatever questions you guys have, largely with respect to Pokemon. Hers are like basically financial advice. Like people will say, I make X amount of money. I have these opportunities in front of me. Should I invest in a Roth IRA? Should I invest in my 401k? Should I invest in a brokerage account? Should I put my housing down payment that I'm going to buy 5 years from now in CDs or treasury ladders or whatever it may be? And she kind of gives financial advice, which is interesting. But then she has a disclaimer at the end of every episode that says financial media is not financial advice. I'm not a CFA, CPA, whatever. All the same disclaimers that we always kind of give. But hers comes at the end. It's kind of funny. And she actually has, what's his name? I'm going to look it up quick. But yeah, she has a guest on every episode. Not every episode, many episodes that that's pretty interesting too. And I've subscribed to one of his different podcasts, and I forget what his name even is. But yeah, her most recent podcast was episode 434. So there are tons of podcasts out there with massive backlogs. There's so much, like people talk about we need more Pokemon content. Someone's got to post something. YouTube is filled with literally thousands and millions of years of content, like more than you could ever consume. I consume some different. Veritasium is one of my favorite YouTube channels, just like really sciencey, engineering type content. There's there's so much great content out there in Pokemon and Pokemon aside too. Like when people say that they can't find content to consume on YouTube, I'm more like, I have 100 things in my watch later and I need to do some spring cleaning to remove things out so that I can feasibly get through everything. That's always my problem. So when people say like, oh, I'm burning out of Pokemon content, I'm burning out, consume something else. Like go check out, if you're into snowboarding, if you're into barbecuing, if you're into whatever you're into, like someone's making content about it. Someone has a podcast about it. There's so much great content out there. It's actually awesome. And then I have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Paramount Plus, we have Disney. It's like, how can you not find something to do? Throw on in the background while you're sorting cards out, while you're prepping your backlog of cards. You can't submit now because PSA is at 19. I'm surprised no one asked that today. PSA is at 19 today. 15 is currently gone as we speak. So me personally, I'm probably not going to submit to PSA this month unless it's at the $25 tier or above. Anything that would fit in the $15 tier will just be added to like a little backlog. I've probably got 1,000 cards in Card Savers. This is obviously not 1,000. This is just one of the boxes. But I've probably got 1,000 cards in Card Savers that are ready to go. Here's some more, but not all of them. They would go at like 10. If 10 were to open, I would send out 1,000 cards. But 10's not going to open, so I'm just going to have to send them in waves. I'm going to have to trickle them in. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the whole grading thing. Let me see what else we've got. Paper handing niche bags is the best way to reduce your taxable income. Pokemon Kai with some tax advice. Dan currently running 10 miles and training for a Disney run the wife signed us up for. Any advice to give her about how much fun it is to open packs and then run? That's bordering much more on relationship advice, which tax advice, financial advice, I'm there for it, but relationship advice, that's scary. It only takes one. Just a reminder that it only takes one, and then maybe she'll go for it. But yeah, I think with that, it's 4:28. I've gotta get heading out. This will allow me time to make a quick Instagram post of my new consignment, my featured consignment for the week. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up there. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. I will